What's up, guys? Welcome back to PB&J. I'm here with Brian and Patrick, and today we want to do something fun. Just something that we've been talking about for a while, and that is our favorite comic book covers. Now, for today's episode, we're going to list 5 comic covers from the modern age, starting from 1985 to now, because otherwise we'll be making this list will go on forever, and we're only going to keep it to 5. For today, I'm sure we could way more later. We thought this would be a lot of fun to talk about. We just decided, hey, let's just listen for you guys. So, what's up, Brian? What's up, I was like, okay, we're good. When I was a kid and I read them, I knew where I was at, where I bought them, and stuff like that. So these just immediately popped in my head. And if I went online and started searching, I would find way more that I forgot about. But I'll have to do that later when we do the Golden Age and Silver Age. I'll have to do that. I have to go back and research a little bit to kind of remember stuff. But anyway, I guess I'll kick it off. And my first cover is kind of a cheat. And that it's multiple covers in one, but that is it's the top selling, it's still the number one selling comic of all time. But this look with the characters, like this is the look they went with for the rest of the 90s. Like everything came from this image, and it came from Jim Lee and his run on X-Men, and just set the tone for the X-Men for the next 10 years. And the X-Men were like, that was like Marvel's like number one book throughout the 90s. And this image, I think, is what, kind of set that off, right? You have Magneto, like it's kind of a throwback to the first X-Men, right? X-Men issue 1, and they're all attacking him. But you got Magneto has his own page or his own cover, and then you have Cyclops and Wolverine and Iceman and Gambit and Rogue, and just the classic 90s lineup. And like the TV show, I think the animated show went off a lot of this lineup right here. So I just remember just being a kid and just blown away. And since I was a kid, I didn't buy every issue, right? Every variant. I just bought the one that had it all for like $4 or $5 at the time. So for me, it's one cover.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's my first one. That's my Jim Lee X-Men #1. And these aren't in any order. That's not. We're just listing. It's not a list from 1 through 5 or nothing. But this is my first one that came off top of my head. X-Men issue 1 by Jim Lee.
Yep, that's a good one. Cool.
So who wants to go next? Patrick, you up?
All right, I'm good. Let's see. Okay, so this one debuted in October of 2000, and the cover artist was Joe Quesada. Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and the variant was the Dynamic Forces variant. You guys familiar with that one?
Oh yeah, that one is that one's a classic. I think me and you we talked about that one a lot.
Yeah, that's the one where he's climbing up the wall, man. I love that one.
Yeah.
That one, just the way that he drew that was incredible. That's like in my all-time top 5 covers. That's the only reason why I bought Ultimate Spider-Man, is because of that cover. Because when I saw the direct version at Comic-Con, I said, that's not Spider-Man. That's an ugly version. But then when I saw DF, I got the white one. I got the direct version just all because of DF. And I
Yeah.
purchased DF first. I got it just because it's Spider-Man. That's a great cover. Similar origin in that book. That one's not CGC. I just picked that one up and I read it. But I don't think it's in the Marvel universe anymore. Right, John?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Alternate universe is gone. It got
Yeah.
folded. It got folded into the 616 universe 5 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. It was the Secret War story in 2015 merged the Ultimate Universe with the Marvel Universe. But a couple characters survived, like Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he survived. Jimmy Hudson, Wolverine's son, he made it. Um, and then the Maker, Evil Reed Richards, he made it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that comic cover is dope. I bought one of those too when it came out. It's just sick. And I think a big reason why too is like because that was what 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
That was like when the digital coloring really started to take off, and it
Right.
has almost like a painter feel to it, right? Like there's no black lines. It's just the color.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful cover.
Yeah, so I think that really helped make it stick out. It's like, dang, look at what they did. This digital, the color. Oh man, yeah, that one. I made sure to run out and get one too.
Very cool. All right. Brian, you got one?
Yep. I'm going to go back to always goes back to X-Men and my first exposure to comic books, and it's always from the cartoons. And this also goes back to what John said for his pick. But my pick is X-Men 25. In the early 90s, like the comic books were experimenting with foils and foil covers and aluminum. I mean, like the foil and the hologram.
Yeah, the hologram card.
Hologram covers. And what I liked about 25 was that's the one where Magneto pulls out Wolverine's adamantium. Um, I just thought that was a really cool cover, and then there's like a hologram with it that looks, that also goes along with the cover. So so it's not just for that specific cover, but just like those runs of comics at the time where they were experimenting with different ways to just have the covers other than just paper and drawing. So but out of all those, 25 is my favorite one from the group.
Yeah, and that one, I think that's a wraparound cover too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember those. Those were sick. The whole storyline.
Yeah.
They all had them.
And that's the one with the Gambit hologram, right?
Yeah.
So you like that one a lot, don't you, John?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh man.
Well, that's the reason why I like it. So.
No, those
No,
were
that's
dope.
a cool cover though.
Yeah.
I like that. Magneto looks really cool in that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he's gonna jack Wolverine up. You can see it right there. But I remember, I mean, you had to buy all the comics for that story anyway. So then you got out the collection of these cards. Like it was pretty cool.
Just a little side topic. What do you think about those foil covers back then? Do you like them, or didn't really care about it?
They were hit and miss. Some of them really like enhanced the comic.
Yeah.
And others they were just there just for novelty's sake, and it didn't work. An example would be X-Force 50 by Rob Liefeld. They had the foil on that, but like on the gun, on Cable's gun, and like his metal parts, and like it enhanced the comic. Like the comic looked dope. But then like Incredible Hulk 400, they used foil on it, and it didn't look good. Like it was there just to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was very hit or miss with it. Like sometimes it worked and enhanced, sometimes it was obvious just a sell, a trick to sell comics,
Well,
So-
you know that there some of the holofoil Battle of the Planets by Alex Ross. Those were awesome. When I
Yeah.
saw those, I bought the whole set when I saw those.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes they hit and sometimes they didn't. So I mean, they don't do it anymore. Like I take that back. Every once in a while, they'll do like a retro cover, and be like, "Oh, the foil. Remember these from the '90s?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." But I mean, pretty much they're dead, and I wasn't really sad when they went away. I was like, "That's fine. It's probably for the best." So I'll go on to my second one, and this was not a foil cover. And that is Incredible Hulk 377 by Dale Keown.
Oh, nice.
And this one, I mean, when you look at the cover, it's very simple. It's just pretty much the Hulk silhouette, on a green cover. That's pretty much it. But this was the debut of the Professor Hulk, and the story leading up to this was that Grey Hulk was fighting the Savage Hulk, fighting Banner in his mind, and this was like something new was coming. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They were like, this is something new. And so just seeing them like you look at that and you're like, what is it? Right? It's just a silhouette. So you're like, what is it? Who is it gonna be green? Is it gonna be gray? You know, like you don't know. It's just like a simple, very simple cover, but it told a good story. And that's when I jumped into comics about this time. And I was reading all these issues and I was just like totally sucked into it. So when that cover is just like, and then it says the new Incredible Hulk on it. Right. So it's like, what the hell? What is it? Wait, you know what I mean? Oh God! And I had to go home and read it real quick.
And Doc Samson's in that one, right?
Yeah, Doc Samson's in it, and then the personalities merge and they become the Professor Hulk. But Dale Keown's one of my favorite artists ever. He's one of those guys that could have been a superstar, but he just didn't do a whole lot. Like he would disappear for years. Do you remember? You guys remember Pitt from Image? He was like a giant gray. He looked like a gray Hulk with like claws.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did Hulk for a while. Left, and he went to Image, started Pitt, and the artwork was just amazing. Like, oh man, like I loved his artwork. But then like the issues went from like monthly to like bi-monthly to like every 6 months to like whenever. You know, once every 2 years it would come out. And then he just was gone for comics for a long time. And then he came back and started working on The Darkness. I don't know if you remember that one from Image.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he did that, and then he kind of disappeared. And he's just one of those. I mean, he must have been doing other stuff outside of comics, obviously, you know. But yeah, he's still one of my favorite artists. Like whenever he does something, I try to grab it because he just doesn't do a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So I had to make sure I got one of his comics on here, and this one is like pretty iconic. So I went with Hulk 377.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. All right. Let's see. My second one is the Uncanny X-Men 210 in 1986, and the cover art was done by John Romita and Bob Wyacek. This is the morning after. It has X-Fire and the Hellfire Club and the Marauders in it. This is the one where all the X-Men are on the cover, and it's got a side profile of Colossus. This was when I love this cover so much that I actually drew it. Now you guys saw my other one that I brought to work that one day.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I've only colored two different covers, and this is the one, and then the Hulk 340. That's it. Those are the two that I drew. But this one, I went in the comic book store and I remember seeing it, and I just said I have to get that one because I wasn't reading X-Men at the time, and I started collecting the X-Men, and I did a run for like 20 or 30 comics right after that one because this is when I kind of stopped collecting for a little while because things came up in my life. But I remember this is what started me back up on the X-Men.
Nice. Yeah, that's classic. John Romita is a freaking legend, so it's good that one of us has a John Romita cover, you know?
Yeah.
That guy, I think dang it, I don't remember if it was Jim Lee or Joe Quesada. I think it was Joe Quesada said John Romita is the best artist ever. Comic book artist ever. Superhero. Yeah. I think it was Joe Quesada. He said John Romita Jr. is the best superhero artist ever. And I'm like, that's a good argument.
Yeah, it
I
is.
won't, I won't say no. The dude can draw anything, and he's worked on everybody. So I got a sketch from him once when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah, at Comic-Con, I asked him for a sketch, and he gave me a little SpiderMan.
And you
But it
still
was,
have it?
I don't think so. I was a kid, man. But it was he just did the eyes, the Spider-Man eyes.
Uh-huh.
And I found out later as I got older that he hated doing sketches. he, he
He
doesn't
gave it
like.
to you because you're a kid? Is
But I
that
was a
why?
kid. Yeah, I was a kid. And yeah, he said he doesn't like doing that at cons. He's not he's one of those guys. And this is kind of how like I am too when I draw. Like just to be out there sketching all the time. He's not like that. He likes to sit down at his desk and he likes to get settled and draw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like just to be out there and be like, oh yeah, here's something quick. Like he doesn't like doing that. But he gave me one when I was a kid, so pretty cool. He got thumbs up for me.
Hey,
12,
dude, I got
12-year-old John loved it.
that's crazy, man. On this cover, if you guys take a look at it, it says, "Come on, mess with us, make our day," right? And so I remember I drew this and brought it to school. I brought it to one of my friends, and we were taking this French class together. And I drew it for him, and then I'm like, "Here, check this out." And he wasn't into comics at all. And he looked at it and he goes, "Simon, mess with us, make our day, Simon." I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking? It says, come on. Wait, just because we're in a French class, you said Simon?" Stupid, man. Yeah, that really happened. I was like, whatever, dude. Okay. Anyway, not that that's important, but I remember that comic because of that too.
Give me my drawing back. All right, Brian, what you got?
Okay, my next one is Spawn number 1. Couple of reasons for this one. I really like the cover. This was the Image comic that I could afford since I couldn't get Youngblood 0. So this was the next big thing that would set me up for retirement. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. With the way the series went on, and then the movie that came out in the late '90s that wasn't that good. Kind of, maybe they set them back like 20 years or something. But but since then they've if you're into comics, Spawn is still a character that's somewhat relevant, right? Like people like their toys, like how they look, and he's still around in the comic book world. And I think they might do another reboot on the movie, right? Like they'll give another shot.
Yeah, they're working on it right now.
Yeah. So we'll see how it does. Just don't bring back John Leguizamo again.
Dude, that Spawn number 1 is awesome looking. I like that. That's one by Todd McFarlane did that one.
Right.
Yeah, and if you guys out there want to get one in 9.8 with your college money, it's $140 for a 9.8. So you were kind of hoping it'd be like several thousand, huh?
Right. Well,
too, thinking the exact same thing because I love the color cover also.
Yeah.
So John, what's the history behind the character? Like, to me, just looking at it, he's like a version of Batman that's more edgier and more violent, right? I mean, is that what they were going for, or?
I mean, he's definitely like a product of his time, right? In the 90s, everything was dark, right? Everything had to be Batman and Ghost Rider and Punisher, Wolverine, you know what I mean? Like super dark, and so he's definitely came out of that. But his character is that he was a mercenary who gets killed, and then he makes a deal with the devil to come back. And the devil does bring him back, but he brings him back, I think, 5 years later. And he wants to come back to his wife, but she's moved on. She's married his best friend. They have a kid. And so he's kind of like stuck, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now what? I'm back, but my family's moved on. And so he rebels and he fights the devil and stuff like that. So he's got a lot of Ghost Rider to it.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a lot of Batman, like with the cape and stuff. Like Todd drew some Batman stuff real early in his career, so you can see that influence in there. There's some Venom in there, and that his suit his suit is a parasite like Venom. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from. But yeah, I mean, I got this cover because it looks so dope. Same thing, like it looks amazing. And it's funny, I never got into Spawn too much, but I would get like I got like issue 1, issue 50, issue 75, just because the covers look so dope.
It's amazing how we buy comics based on the cover sometimes, regardless what's on inside of it.
Oh yeah, I'll just be like, I don't even know what that is, but I'm gonna get it. But no, yeah, Spawn one's like that's a great cover. Did you read any of it, Brian, or not? You just
I did. I think I was following it for the first 10 issues or so, and then I just fell off.
Hey, did you read your copy or did you read it online?
I read my copy back then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it still in good condition?
It is. I just need to look for it. I don't know where I put it. Sometimes I hide stuff so well to keep it preserved that I had it for myself too, so that's a problem.
All right, let's see. My next one will be from Alex Ross. And me and Patrick were just talking about this offline. That I mean, you can pick. I mean, almost all this dude's stuff, right? His covers are just. I mean, I can do a list of just him. But I'm gonna go with Kingdom Come issue 1.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I remember I was a kid when this came out. I think this was 96 around there. And he had already done Marvels, and Marvels was really good. But then he did Kingdom Come with Mark Waid, and oh my God, dude, just my mind blew. Like I was like, this dude's something else. He's next level. And this is the comic that blew him up into the superstar stratosphere. Alex Ross, like, and he didn't. I don't think he did any more interiors. Or no, he did, but very, very every once in a while. Like I know he did interiors for like one shots. He did like a Superman one shot. I think he did a Batman. But this guy's just covers, man. Just covers. But this one, I remember seeing that cover, and with the Spectre in the middle, and then all these characters behind him that were like they're all brand new. And this comic was supposed to be this huge thing from the future. So it's like, whoa, what the hell? Who are these dudes, right? Like all these new freaking characters, and you can tell that like it's something epic. That's what that cover. When I looked at that cover, I'm like, oh, this comic is gonna be epic, and it was. I remember reading it, and I read Kingdom Come so much that I bought the 4 issues, the single issues, and then I bought the trade so that way I can read it over and over and over again. And I put the comics away, and man, that I read it so much that it was falling apart. That trade, I think I destroyed it. And just yeah, that's one of my favorite DC stories ever. It's one of my favorite. I mean, I'll go back to this day. I'll go back and look at it just for the artwork and the whole thing. But man, that cover, it's a wraparound with all these new characters that he created for that story. And it was supposed to be just an alternate universe type story, but it was so good that they tried to make it canon into DC. Like the future is going to lead to that. That's how good it was. But yeah, Kingdom Come issue 1, classic. I can name 100 Alex Ross, but I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah, he's definitely unique. The way he draws, it's almost like it's a photograph, right? Like it's amazing.
And I think we looked at his age. He was just a kid when he did that. He's not even 50 yet, and that was so he was probably like 25, 26 when he did it. And just I mean, the dude's he's just a legend, just next level. I'll be getting his stuff forever.
Yeah, you were telling me that you said in high school he drew something, and you said it looked professional to you for the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He put up a painting. He posted a painting once online, like of 2 fencers. It was a painting of 2 fencers, like in the Olympics. And he was like 17 when he did it. And I look at it, I'm like, that's professional work. he was 17 or 18 years old. I'm like, that's a pro. So the dude, I don't know if you want to say prodigy, but I mean, if there's anyone that deserved it, it's him.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, what's your third one?
Well, okay. Well, since we're talking about Alex Ross, my third one was Batman Harley Quinn, the one shot by Alex Ross in 1999. That's the origin and first appearance of Harley Quinn. Now this one's a classic because it's like the style of Batman, and it was so iconic, this cover, that other artists were copying this for their covers. I mean, that's how amazing Alex Ross is. But like John was saying, there are a billion Alex Rosses, and you can pick anything that he's done, and it just looks awesome. Basically, if you just type in Alex Ross anywhere, anything that he creates is awesome.
Yeah, they even used that shot in Suicide Squad. They put it in the movie. That's how iconic that shot is.
Yeah.
No, yeah. When you said that one, I was like, oh, that's because right when you said it, Batman Harley Quinn, the image just put right in my head. I was like, yep, that's a great image.
But if you look, doesn't it look like a photograph?
Oh yeah, especially that one.
All right, that's my number 3.
And I think he used himself as the Joker model.
Did he?
I think so. I think so. I have to double check, but I think so. Wow. So it's that Joker. It's him. So, Brian, what's your next one?
Okay, so my third one is coming from an investment point of view. So I believe for the modern age, this one is the most valuable right now, and that's Spider-Man 300. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like if you get a 9.8, I think it's like over $2,000 or something. So, and also I love his Spider-Man wearing the symbiote suit. So anything with that, I like. It's my favorite. So I wanted to put in one that was not in the modern age, but it's another one where he's wearing the black symbiote suit. It's simple, but always looks awesome. And this is another Todd McFarlane cover. So has some similarities to the spine cover that I just mentioned, like a lot of focus on the hands in the front, which is something I noticed in the spine cover as well. So I don't know if that's just his style, but it's just something I noticed. And it's issue 300, so it's a milestone comic book. So yeah, just love the cover, love Spider-Man in the symbiote suit, and it's like one of the top most valuable comics in the modern age.
Dude, I was gonna pick that one, but then you picked it. Anyway, that is an awesome cover, and it is pretty iconic because I love that black suit that he has. We were talking about another one. His first black suit was at the Spider-Man 252, but that's not in the modern age, so we could use that one for this episode. But yeah, I love this one, and they wanted to make sure that you remember that this was number 300 because 300's all over this comic book.
Yeah. I haven't looked at it recently. I mean, I have two copies of it. It's the 300's hologram too. Like there's some reflection on it too, right? Or is it just flat? I don't remember, but I have to.
I think the hologram might be the CGC sticker that you see on the right-hand side. I think there's a platinum cover that you may be referring to. There is a platinum cover. Let me see.
Yeah, this is another one where a lot of other artists kind of, pay homage to and stuff. They'll draw covers that look like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was another classic. Right out of the 90s, like set the look for Spider-Man for a long time. And then, of course, it's the first Venom, so huge issue.
Yeah, that was definitely a good pick. This is a good pick.
Yeah, good thanks for adding the Venom because that's one of my favorite characters. So.
And yeah, this comic's expensive to get too.
You really can't go wrong with Todd.
All right, John, what's yours? Your
Okay, let's
next
see.
one.
Let's see. Back to me. So this one, I'm gonna go back to my boy Jim Lee, and this one is Batman 608. Um, this is the first. I think it's the first interior art that Jim Lee did for DC after um, DC bought Wildstorm and he jumped over. He had done some covers and stuff, but this was like his return to comics. And so this is the very first issue. It started up the Hush storyline. That was about 12 issues, and that Hush storyline like just knocked it out of the park. So it was like the hype of Jim Lee is back. His first interiors in years, and they were gonna do this huge epic Batman story, and like the hype was so huge. I remember the hype being so big back then, and I remember buying this issue. I went right home, it was the first thing I read, and they knocked it out of the park. This story was so good, just action, and they made sure to put every villain so Jim Lee could draw him. Introduce a new character in Hush, but that cover of just that Batman, the way he's standing
Which one
there.
was it, real quick, John? Which cover was it?
Um,
Is it the one where it's like half? It's he's wearing a jacket on one side and a suit on the other. That one?
no, that was a I think that was the cover to the trade.
Okay.
Um,
Or is it the one where he's just standing and he's got like a side profile?
yes.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, that one. Okay.
And actually, now that I'm looking, because I think that was a variant. Because there's another Batman. There's one where he's swinging and he's coming at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that one, but the other one with the side view. I think that was a variant. Now that I'm looking at it.
Okay.
The variant is the one with his leg, right? Like right in front. Like he's swinging and.
No, that was the main one.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one I'm talking about is a variant, and yeah, it's a side view.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one's actually very similar to the tattoo I have of him by Jim Lee. It's not the same drawing; it's a different one, but it's very similar. And I was looking up, kind of the history of this image, and the comic historians were saying that Batman was always drawn kind of thin and agile, and when Jim Lee took over, he buffed him up a little bit, and you got this big, strong-looking Batman, and that kind of set the tone for Batman pretty much ever since then. Like now, if you look, you read any Batman comic, he's pretty jacked. So he kind of changed the style for Batman, and at the time, Batman comics were not that great. Like I remember they had a big story called Cataclysm in the late '90s, early 2000, and I read that story, and that was pretty cool. But the Batman stories had kind of just, they're kind of second rate. This one kind of brought Batman right back to the front, Like it pushed him right to being the top guy, and then ever since then, pretty much Batman's been the number one selling comic since this. So, so it's a huge comic, for the history of Batman. It's a great image from Jim. I think they made this into a statue. I think they did. They made this. They turned this into a statue. But yeah, it was just a huge deal that Jim Lee was back, and it just fulfilled the hype. So. This is my pick. It's a variant issue of Batman 608, variant image of 608. So Patrick, what's your next one?
Superman Batman #1. That's by Ed McGuinness and Dexter
McGuinness. Yeah.
Yeah, there are two different covers, but I like the one with Batman in the foreground. It came out in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one is. You look at that one. He looks buff in that one too. And it's got Superman just flying behind him, going straight down. And I just love how they've got the bat symbol with Superman symbol right on top of the bat symbol. So it's beautifully drawn. I love this. I bought this one at Comic-Con also.
Oh, you did? That's cool.
Yeah, I don't have this in a CGC folder. I just saw it, and I bought it. Yeah, I bought this. Yep. I got that one from Comic-Con. I remember that one. Didn't read it. Didn't want to mess it up. Just loved the cover. Displayed it in my room for a couple of years and switched it out. But yeah, that was one of my favorite covers.
Yeah, that logo is so dope. I got it tattooed on my back.
Oh, that's that same one?
That's it. Yep.
That's cool, man.
Once I saw that logo, I said, "Yep." I took a photocopy of it, took it right to the tattoo artist, and got it on my back.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, no, that one's tight. Yeah, that one, and then you have the other one with Superman in the front. But yeah, that was another big hype comic because they hadn't had a Superman Batman comic in a long time. So then they got Jeff Loeb, who was writing Hush. Ed McGuinness is a superstar, and yeah, that comic was dope. It was that was a great story. Sorry, Brian.
All right,
Brian,
you're up.
All right, this one is going to be very quick. My fourth one is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. It just looks cool. That's it. You know, the silhouette of him with like lightning in the background. It just looks awesome. So.
Dude, that was by Frank Miller, man. He's the man. That
was
awesome.
You guys can add in all the
that
extra
one.
details. I'm just going by the cover. I just
Oh man, yeah, Frank Miller's a legend. That's one of the most iconic images. They put that in the movie too.
Yeah.
And I think Justice League they put that one. Yeah, that's one of the best. That's the other comic. No, I didn't get the issues for these because it was too old. But I got the trade, and that one too. I read it so much it fell apart.
Oh really? Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that one right there. That is another one that was going to be in my top 5, but Brian took that one again. So, but I don't know if you guys remember, but this is the comic book that my dad bought me. I walked into a comic book store and I looked at it. I'm like, man, Dad, that's awesome. And I said, that's going to be worth lots of money. He said, how many do you want? You want to buy 100? I'm like, no, I'll just buy 2. And then I got the 2, and I took one of them. And remember, I traded that for Fish Police #1, which really pissed me off because that was the dumbest trade on the planet. The guy's all like, "Sure, kid, here you go. Here's your Fish Police #1. Give me that Dark Knight."
He probably turned it around and sold it for like $40, like immediately.
Whatever.
No, yeah, I love the Dark Knight. I mean, I read, like I said, I read the crap out of that story over and over and over again as a kid. Not to study the art because I could never draw like Frank Miller. Like he's such a unique. Like I was like I can't draw like this guy, and there's no way. But yeah, that story is just classic, man. That's a good pick.
Isn't this the comic where they started making Batman really tough and real gritty? This is when it started, right?
Yeah, that's when it started. Yep. Like super tough guy, just unbeatable type dude. Super dark. Super dark. All right, I guess it goes back to me, and this will be the last one for today's list. And this is another one where I just bought the cover because it's just amazing. I didn't care about the story at all. And that is Detective Comics 880, drawn by Jock, with the Joker on the cover, and he's made out of like the bunch of bats are flying out of his eyes and stuff, and it forms an image. And I remember just looking at this image and just being like, it's freaking amazing. Like, the story was whatever. It's just an okay story about the Joker type, whatever. But this drawing was just like so mind blowing. I think when I saw it, I was just like, I have to have it so I can just stare at it and try to study what Jock did. But that's another artist who I don't even try and stop myself after because his style is so unique. But you guys see this cover, right?
Oh yeah, I've seen it, and when I saw it, I didn't buy it. You know why I didn't buy it? Because even though I didn't buy it and didn't have it, I still had nightmares for like a week after seeing the cover. It's that scary looking, dude. Brian, have you seen this cover
I'm
in real
looking at
life?
it right
It's
now.
scary when you first see it.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. It looks
Yeah,
really cool though.
yeah. I'd never seen anything like it. Like the image is just like, oh, so I just bought it. I said, this is amazing. I just bought it. Story, like I said, the story. I kind of flipped through the story, and I was like, it's okay. But all I cared about was having this comic, this cover. And Jock, of course, I've been following ever since. And the dude does storyboard work for movies. He worked on Dread, stuff like that. The guy's just freaking amazing. British guy, British artist. All right, Patrick.
All right, for my last one, it's also a Joker cover. It's The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Batman, The Killing Joke.
Yep.
By Brian Boland. Yeah, I only got this because, like you guys, the cover was just awesome. I love this. Just the way he's grinning at you and taking a photograph. This to me epitomizes the Joker.
Yeah.
Every part of it.
You're like, how creepy is it? Why is the Joker taking a picture of me?
That's right.
What does he got? What does he got going? Like it's just great stories and yeah, and then that story Killing Joke is freaking great.
So I saw the animated version of that story. So that cover is based on him spying on Barbara, right? Or is that from something else?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But in the animated version though, that whole love story with Batman and Barbara, that's just in the movie. That wasn't in the comic.
Okay.
Because the comic is just a one shot and it's not that long, so they had to pad out the time. So that was kind of a controversial decision. Not a lot of people were happy about that.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Yeah, it kind of just comes out of nowhere, right? You're like, what is it? Yeah, so. But the cover is great. The story's great. Brian Boland's amazing artist. Like, Patrick, do you see any of his covers for Animal Man?
I did.
Yeah, the dude's that guy's one of the most underrated artists. His style is so clean. But I love Killing Jokes. You know, a funny story. When I was in, I believe it was in 4th grade, we had to do we played a game in class, I don't know, it was like a history quiz or something, and whoever won got a comic book, and it was that one. And of course, I won. I made sure to win that game. Whatever the game was, I won. I was like, I'm getting that fucking comic. And I'm only in 4th grade, so I get it, and I'm so happy. I'm like, yes, I got a Batman comic. But then but that comic it's a mature comic. Like there's nudity, there's there's a lot of like really harsh stuff in there. So then the teacher comes back and goes, John, can I look at that? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So she looks at it and then she goes, you know what? I don't think this is appropriate for you. I'm gonna give you this instead. And she gave me a set of baseball cards. And I was like, what? It was like the Los Angeles Dodgers roster for like 92 or something. And I was like, I don't care. Where's my... Oh, and I was so mad. I mean, looking back, now that I read it, I was like, oh, yeah. She didn't know. She just bought a Batman comic. But yeah, that was the first time I had it when I was in 4th grade. And then I didn't get it again until I was like 17 or something.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to her copy.
I don't know.
Someday.
But I always remember that was 4th grade. I always remember that. All right, Brian, I think that you're going to finish this up here.
Yes. I think all three of us have this one, but since you guys have a lot more covers to choose from, you guys were nice enough to give it to me. So my last one is The Incredible Hulk 340. And that's the one with Wolverine and the Hulk fighting again. And Wolverine's claws are out and you see the Hulk's face on his claws, like a reflection of it. So looks awesome.
Another great Todd McFarlane cover. That's what, 3 you've got for Todd?
3, yep.
Yeah, no, that's a great cover. I'm looking at it again right now. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, did you guys ever read the story?
No, I haven't opened mine. I have 2 of them. I bought 2 of them.
That's a great story. It's just a classic fight between the Hulk and Wolverine, and I think the comic itself is like $50. Like it's a pretty sought after comic because it's just such a cool fight. Um, Wolverine versus the Gray Hulk. It's the first time he fought Joe Fixit. And I think that stories where they established that the Hulk has a healing factor, like Wolverine. Super gory fight, super brutal, and yeah, and then it's Todd McFarlane, right? Real early Todd McFarlane. Yeah, I love that comic. I had to go back and get that one a long time ago, and that's another comic that gets copied a lot. You know, other artists will draw it like that. Um, but yeah, no, that's a good pick, Brian. And this is another comic illustrated by you, right, Patrick?
That's right. One of the two that I illustrated. I showed that one to you guys.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Looks good. So Pat, I don't know if you remember, but when I got my copy of this issue, the first thing you noticed was like the top of my cover was kind of a little bit cut off.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, what was that like one? A weird... What was the rating on that one again?
I don't remember. It was a 9 something. But you know where the very top where it says The Incredible?
Yeah.
It's really touching the edge. I think it even touches like the very top of like the letters.
Oh, so
yeah.
It was like a funky print job.
Right. It just got shifted down a little bit.
But that's all right. It's still a beautiful cool. Comic. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like, you really can't do anything about it. Those are just, they got printed funky on the comic and just, you know, nothing you can do about it. What's funny is that Tom McFarlane was writing, he was drawing the Hulk and Peter David was writing it, and they like, people were digging it, people were loving it. And I don't know what happened, but they like hate each other now.
Do they?
Yeah. It's one of the longest, weird comic book feud. Peter David versus Tom McFarlane.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but then after his Hulk run, Todd jumped to SpiderMan and became a superstar. But yeah, those are our covers, our 5, not top 5, but 5 covers that we all enjoy from modern era. This is just part 1. We'll call it part 1 because we'll get back to it. There's so many more that we missed, but if you guys have favorite covers, throw them down in the comments so we could check them out, and leave comments on ours. You know, what you guys think of our picks too? So if there's anything else, guys, I think we're done, right?
Yep, I think that's it.
So yeah, next time we do another modern age one, I'll make sure to throw in a Gamut cover.
I guess if you have to. All right, guys, we'll see y'all later.
All right, see you soon.